Let me tell you something, right up front. When I first bought my townhouse in Lakewood, Colorado, I knew the HOA would be a hassle, but what I didn't know, that one day I'd be standing in a police station, wind howling outside blizzard, dumping snow everywhere, filing a report against my own HOA president. Sounds dramatic? Buckle up, because this mess started with a parking spot and turned into something so much bigger it'd make a reality TV producer rub his hands together. So my name's Franklin Calloway. Let me walk you through how a simple, "Hey, that's my parking spot," escalated to, well, you'll see. First time I met Deborah Patterson, she was literally standing in my assigned spot, arms crossed, clipboard ready, like she was about to write up a ticket scowl so sharp it could slice bread. I'd just moved in. My moving truck's blocking half the street. I'm juggling a work call and trying not to drop boxes labeled fragile that clearly were not packed by anyone with an ounce of care. "Excuse me, you cannot park that truck here." Deborah barked, voice sharp enough to cut glass. Middle-aged blonde hair in that perfect I run every meeting style pantsuit, so crisp it probably stood up on its own. She's wearing a lanyard with an HOA badge like she's some kind of federal agent. I mean, come on. I try to finish my call, then I tell her polite as possible, "Hi, I'm Franklin, just moved into 47B. This is my spot. The truck's almost done." She taps her clipboard like she's launching nukes. "You're blocking the fire lane. I look, there's a solid 20 feet of clearance. A fire truck could do donuts out there. We'll be done in 2 hours. Is that okay?" Her eyes narrow. "HOA rules say moving is only on weekdays 9 to 5. It's Saturday." Then she whips out this 40-page stack of bylaws. I tell her, "Property manager said weekends are fine, as long as I'm out by 7 p.m. Deborah shakes her head, tightens her lips like she just sucked a lemon. "Property managers don't make rules. I do. I'm the HOA president. Everyone follows the rules. Period." That right there set the tone. Over the next month, I get 3 violation notices. 3. First, for leaving my trash bin out 4 hours past pickup. Second, for hanging a tiny fall wreath on my door before November. Apparently that's a crime. Third, for parking my car 6 inches over the line. Each ticket $50. I paid 2 just to keep the peace, but that third one, nah, I contested it. Turns out Deborah ran the HOA like her own private kingdom. There were 5 board members, sure, but the other 4 were just nodding along, her personal entourage. When I showed up to contest the fine, they gave me 3 minutes, didn't even pretend to listen, and voted against me in 10 seconds. Deborah leaned forward, looked down her nose. "We have standards here, Mr. Calloway. Maybe you should have bought elsewhere if you wanted something more relaxed. That's the HOA way. Take your money and insult your intelligence." So I started reading those bylaws. If Deborah wanted to play rules lawyer, fine, I could play too. Then winter hit. Colorado winter. Brutal, snowy, relentless. I'm ready, new snow shovel, salt, fresh, winter tires, the works. Deborah. She cranked up the enforcement. Sent an email blast about snow removal. HOA plows the main roads, but residents clear their own spots and walkways 24 hours after snow, or it's a $100 fine. First snow, I'm up at 6 a.m. shoveling. I even clear the walkway for Mr. Henderson, my elderly neighbor. By 8 a.m., my spot's sparkling piles of snow stacked neat. 2 hours later, I glance out, and what do I see? Deborah's silver Mercedes sliding right into my spot. I head outside Deborah, that's my spot. She steps out in her fancy coat, tells me the contractors are behind, so she's just temporarily using my spot while on HOA business. Homeowners are responsible for clearing their own spots, I remind her. She brushes past as HOA president. I can use any parking spot for official business. I'm standing there stunned. I check the bylaws. Nothing gives her that right. My spot's tied to my deed. She just does what she wants. After work, her Mercedes is still there. I park in visitor parking 3 buildings away, trudge through the snow, call the non-emergency police. They say it's a civil matter. I email the HOA. They send a form letter, resolve disputes amicably. Amicably. You try reasoning with someone who thinks rules don't apply to them. Neighbors most are scared. Mr. Henderson says she fined him $300 for painting his shutters the wrong shade of cream. The Mortons got reported to the county over their backyard garden legal fees, set them back $1,000 even though the complaint was tossed out. Every snowfall, the same circus. I shovel Deborah parks. I end up walking through snow. I leave notes, send certified letters. She ignores me, then sends me violation notices for harassing a board member. The week before Christmas, they forecast a blizzard. I prep groceries, gas, firewood. And I make a decision: if Deborah parks there during the storm, I'm calling a tow truck. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Blizzard hits. I'm working from home, snow piling up, by noon, a foot on the ground. HOA says snow removal is delayed until it's safe. At 2 p.m., here comes Deborah Mercedes struggling through the snow, right into my spot. Out she goes into the clubhouse. I call around, finally find Rocky Mountain Towing. They'll do it, but it'll take hours. Fees $200. Worth it. At 6 p.m., tow truck arrives, chains on tires, lights flashing. Driver, big guy named Mike, confirms everything. I signed the forms. He's out there in the blizzard hooking up her car when Deborah comes charging out of the clubhouse, snow flying, screaming bloody murder. She threatens to have me fined, sued, make my life a living hell. Mike doesn't blink. Ma'am, your car's getting towed. Here's our card. She storms off. I go inside, heart pounding, hands shaking. I knew I'd just poked the hornet's nest. Next day, storm's over, street still buried. I'm shoveling out, helping neighbors, when there's a knock. It's 2 police officers. Deborah reported me for maliciously towing her car, claims I put her in danger. I invite them in, show them my stack of evidence, photos, emails, my deed. They see what's up. We're not filing charges, but try not to escalate, they say. The HOA calls an emergency meeting. Saturday morning, clubhouse packed, everyone whispering. Deborah reads out my crimes for 20 minutes, paints me as the community menace. My turn, 20 minutes of cold, hard facts, her car in my spot, 23 times, emails, timestamps, deed, weather, data, the works. When I finish, the room is dead quiet. Deborah tries to claim president privileges, but then twists a guy in the back, stands up, introduces himself as Robert Chen, an attorney and resident. He lays it out. Deborah has no legal authority to commandeer parking spots. In fact, the HOA is exposed to serious legal risk. Chaos erupts. Residents start chiming in. Board members are rattled. Motion passes to table everything until they get legal advice. Residents thank me, shake my hand on the way out. Something shifts. Suddenly people start talking. Neighbors share their horror stories about Deborah's petty tyranny. We realize she's been running the place like her own fiefdom for years, using the rules to bully, fine, and control everyone. 10 days after the tow, Deborah's attorney sends me a threat: pay $2,000 for supposed damage to her car, or she'll sue. My lawyer, Jennifer, laughs it off and fires back a response: never hear from them again. But Deborah tries to double down, pushes through new parking rules, requires vehicle registration, tries to set me up for more fines. But the new rules violate the HOA's own procedures. Robert Chen, now leading the resistance, calls for a recall election. We gather signatures in 3 days flat. The recall election is a blowout. Deborah and her entire board gone. New board, new era. They audit the finances, and guess what? Deborah's been embezzling over $40,000 blown on car payments, dinners, even paying her own son for consulting. She's charged with theft and embezzlement, pleads guilty, pays restitution, put on probation. The crazy part, all this over a parking spot. Standing up for myself, documenting everything, refusing to be bullied, set off a chain reaction that swept out a corrupt president, reformed an entire community, brought neighbors together. And yeah, I learned something in all this. Sometimes it really is the little things, the parking spot, the trash bin, the wreath on your door, that matter. Because when you let people trample the little things, it gives them permission to trample the big ones. Power only works if people let it. Deborah's gone now. The new board is fair, transparent, even friendly. My neighbors volunteer, throw real block parties, actually enjoy living here. My parking spot blissfully, gloriously mine. No more Mercedes, no more phony violations. Just peace. I'll tell you, sometimes it takes one person finally saying enough to make everyone else realize they can stand up too. If you're ever wondering whether it's worth fighting back against small injustices, let me be the guy who tells you, yeah, it is. Because you never know what you'll uncover or who'll stand with you once you make the first move. So let me throw it out to you. Where's the line for standing up for yourself? Is it worth it to push back on the little stuff? Or should we just let things slide for an easy life? Ever had your own parking spot moment? Drop your story below. I want to hear what you think about justice, power, and when enough is enough.